Welcome to another edition of the Chaotic Sports Podcast. This is a podcast.
You said that you said that with
make
a little
it clear.
You said that with energy, like podcast.
I will explain in a second. My name's Chris Sarda. This is Angelo Soboro. You can find us on Twitter at Chaotic Sports.
ChaoticSports.com, but it's
ChaoticSports.com. I don't write that much
stories on there.
That means Chris, write more, you asshole. Basically what that means.
I mean, I could write some stuff, but I don't know how to post it because I don't have the link, so I'd have to send it to you.
I haven't given you a password. Yeah, you could send it to me.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'll give you passwords too, but send it to me, yeah. Well,
so I can blame me on that too.
No. If we're going to do... this is a rule.
I mean, I got paid to write stories before, so let me put that out there.
But this is a rule. One, don't set your beer on here because it'll make a sound on the podcast.
Beer? What are you talking about, beer, man?
We'll talk about that in a second. Number two is any article
squirt.
Any article is minimum 500 words. Okay,
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, and since we don't post that much, it can't just be about the games yesterday. It has to be about.
Most of our podcasts start with what we're not doing. By the way, we've had a bunch of podcasts where it's okay, we didn't do a podcast for 6 months. Sorry. Now you're saying
we're going to come all the time.
Yeah, we haven't updated ChaoticSports.com for 6 months. We're sorry. Can you just step up for the people?
Hey, I'm stepping up. I'm doing live streams on YouTube.
I mean, I feel you. We did a podcast a few weeks ago, so this discussion's not the original from before, you know?
Yeah. Well, it works because I've changed jobs again, and now we can podcast in the day.
Yeah.
So the schedule's easier for the Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning podcast kind of thing. So the reason I made an exclamation point on podcast is because I didn't realize. I think you're a little jelly that we've been doing a podcast that we've been doing a live stream with Wayne on YouTube. I've been doing a live stream with, which you're always invited to, of course.
Well, that was my point. I'm not invited. I'm not invited to the party that I'm semi-hosting is my feeling on it. You know what I mean? So as long as I get an invite. I mean, I should be able to... it's like I don't have a key to my fucking house. You know what I mean? Where's the key? I mean, I know the code, but you changed the code and shit. So, I want to get on, you know.
Did you try to come to my garage?
No, I forgot. I mean, I know I could possibly remember. I know what it is.
It's different now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't try.
Yeah. I thought you were referring to that right now.
No. So I'm fine with not being at the party. Dude, you know me. You know my style. I've never had to be at every cool kid party. That's just not my style. But... I mean, I would like to be at it most of the time, right? You know what I mean?
You're a little hurt. I should send you the link.
Send me the link. But especially when you first start a party, and it's your party, you might want to be the first 3 out of 4 parties.
Wayne was always a host.
I'm just saying.
I'm trying to include Wayne.
Hey, I'm down with Wayne. You don't think I'm down with Wayne?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. You sound a little jealous of Wayne.
I just want to be on it sometimes.
Of course, just like Wayne was on the podcast.
Well, I care about chaotic sports. If I didn't care, then I wouldn't.
Well, you run the Twitter.
Yeah, but you should feel
made a new Twitter for Chaotic Wagers.
Yeah, but you should feel this kid cares. So the people that are listening to this podcast, should enjoy that I care.
Listen,
because if I didn't care,
you're like
I wouldn't
Jermaine
care.
Whitehead. Even though you're in the wrong, I see the passion and I respect it.
Oh, don't link me to that guy, man. No, that was the lack of passion.
That was definitely passion. Jermaine Crackerhead, as I like to call him.
Yeah. Let's get off of that thing.
So, just so the podcast people know, you can go to Chaotic Sports. You can go to youtube.com. I think it's /Chaotic Sports. I think mine might have. I just started it, so we don't have that many subscribers yet.
Well, we have a lot of podcasts on there, but now it's some live streams.
We have a lot of podcasts, but we're going to start doing the live streams, talking football. Wayne's probably a little bit more of a boxing guy, so we'll talk some boxing on there too at the end of the live streams. Basketball. Wayne's not much of a baseball guy. I'll talk to you about baseball. But you and me, though, could talk about any sport. We'll just make sure baseball is talked about. You and I. Actually, we might have to pause this right now because I forgot at the end of the show, that could be the third story, is they haven't announced all the baseball awards yet, so we can run through them.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, let's do that.
And all that kind of stuff?
Yeah. We could probably do a whole episode of that if we do 30, 40 here and then just pull up a baseball episode. Anyway, so we're gonna start live streaming. We're trying to figure out the best day for that. I want to review football. I want to have a fresh review of football with Wayne. That was my goal.
Yeah.
So you either do it Sunday nights or Monday during Monday Night Football, so we can make comments.
Some stories that can be on chaoticsports.com too.
What?
Just some stories on the week or on the team.
Yeah, that's fine too.
There's a lot of stuff we need to start doing.
Yeah, and we'll that's what I really was doing the live stream for. So everything's fresh, talk football. Yeah. Wayne, of course, is antsy. He wants to be talking about LeBron and basketball. He wants to talk about the fights, which I want to do too. So I mean, if we can get the good schedule going, because Wayne, of course, moved from Vegas. He's in Cleveland, as people that watch the stream know. So the time is a little bit weird.
Yeah.
I'm drunk by 4:30 p.m.
Drunk on punching a glove, like on what?
Yeah, just in love, So I'm the guy that has to pull all those levers and stuff, and I'm doing it like, I'm just kidding.
Well, you got to do it like,
what are we drinking right now?
He's joking about that.
We're drinking Avery Brewing El Gose German style sour ale. So it's a Gose, and
we decided to have a beverage of adults category. It's late at night.
Dude, if anyone's ever listened to this podcast, we literally only went like maybe 7 shows without talking about beer.
Well, this is from Boulder, Colorado.
We clearly talk about beer on this.
Yeah, of course we do. We always do. That's our thing.
Yeah, I've actually never had this. This is good. I like the light. I mean, you and I have both gone the light route in beer. Well, I still drink some heavier IPAs, but we used to drink all those dark beers, and we had to quit. What happened? Did we change? Did we go through menopause?
No, it's just I mean, you when you're younger, you might start a little lighter, and then you hit it heavy. Then you start hitting the heavy bag, and then...
Well, we changed, it happened to both of us.
Yeah.
And maybe we had a bad dark beer, and it made us sick. Because I didn't have the same feeling you did. You also drank, if you don't remember, where it really made you sick, you were eating some... not very good vegan Mexican food that night too. That was last year.
Oh, it was like old stuff or something, or
it wasn't that good. Yeah, I admitted it. And you were eating that, and you were mixing it with dark beer. You're already drunk, didn't feel good, and then you drank another one. And
I wasn't drunk, but
well, yeah, you weren't drunk. But...
So yeah, we're on a light kick. I mean, I'll still drink a dark, medium type of beer every once in a while.
I mean, I still drink the hoppy stuff,
but I just feel like I'm on a lighter route. Everything's in me is just lighter lately.
Yeah, I just want a light taste. I want to relax. I'm not like crazy into partying now. I just want to watch a movie, do a podcast, watch a basketball
game. You'll have a beer. You'll have one beer like at a movie theater or something.
Yeah, it's a big one.
My equivalent of beers is like women. Like I used to like Guinness and dark beers, and I used to like all dark women. and now it's just
Ryan
like
Reeves beer
now it's just a lighter the beer, the fun, So it's like the lighter the female, the more fun I'm gonna have. I don't know why that is, but it's kind of in my mood lately. It's been more like sours or whatever. But I also like trying any beer I haven't had. I like to try. It doesn't matter. Like I'll try anything once. Like especially when it comes to beer or
dick
food or something. Something like that. Whatever. I'm gonna try it. Like I'm not gonna be scared. I won't have it again if I don't like it. If it's something weird,
Okay, before we get into the football talk, the next one we're opening, this is Abel Baker beer. This is 7.5 Training Day Golden Ale. You said this is the Ryan Reeves beer?
Yeah, this is the Ryan Reeves beer.
How do you know it doesn't say anything about Ryan Reeves?
Well, it doesn't have to say anything. That's his number is 75 on Golden Knights. His number is 75.
Okay, so they can't even put his name on it, I guess?
I mean, why would they put it? That says his number is 75.
Abel Baker, I mean, there's a lot of number 75. So
but it's 75 Brewing.
Jermaine Whitehead could be number 75.
But this is 75 Brewing Company. It's the one that he does.
Which is funny because it's actually Abel Baker. I don't know anything about this beer. It's a golden ale.
I've never had it.
I'm not a big gold. I guess I'm an ale guy. So
that's why I wanted.
This goes more on the light side again, but pretty good. So what are we? 5.75.
I wonder if they heard the can opening. That's like a nice sound. That's like a sound that should be like.
We should have started with
text
this beer.
Message sound.
Yeah, we should have started with it. That's actually Gosha's text message sound is a bottle opening.
No, but not like a beer, like a
not a can. Yeah, we should have started with this one since it's like a base beer.
Well, can't you go boom, boom, boom?
I mean, I will now, but I got to get the lime out of my mouth. We didn't put lime in.
Among other things.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get into it, guys. Let's get into it. So, man, football really threw me for a curveball this week. There's a lot to focus on. The Patriots losing for the first time. It was a weird week, really, because I think it was pretty unanimous that top to bottom the NFC North was the best division. Like the Bears might finish last, but we all know the Bears are a halfway decent quarterback away from being one of the best teams in the league.
Well, I think the NFL, there's a lot of
parity.
Parity. So I'm not really surprised, like how you're saying that league or that division all lost, because the parity in the NFL is like, it's not that surprising.
But I mean, for all 4 of them to lose, that's like a crazy parlay.
Well, okay, how about this? This week or last week, every home team won their game.
Well, at least that's on the side of probability.
It happened a few years ago, and before
it's
that,
rare.
It was like 40 years ago.
So
it's like really doesn't happen.
So that is pretty crazy, but it's the way some of these teams lost. The Packers losing 26-11 to the Chargers, who've been one of the biggest disappointments in the league. I mean, a lot of that was Joey Bosa and Melvin Ingram. I mean, they were just. I mean, if we thought that the offensive line was playing well, Joey Bosa and Ingram showed that they could just walk through those guys.
Bosa's just trying to be like, hey, I'm still as good as my brother or better. You guys are all jumped on the Nick Bosa wagon like a week or two ago.
Yeah, they were on it.
I'm still here for the pain, I'm still the freaking better brother. I'm the older brother. I'm the big bad wolf, So the Chargers game, along with the Ravens game, a lot of these games, I like the Chargers with the points. I like the Ravens with the points, but I might have thought the other team might have won.
Yeah, but the points were what,
all
7?
The other teams won. Chargers were +4.
They were only +4.
No, I thought maybe the Chargers would win or they lose by a field goal. Ravens were plus like 4.5 or whatever they were. Thought maybe the Patriots win or Ravens win at the last minute. Ravens killed them, right? I mean, a lot of these teams, it's like you won with the points, but they outright won,
They outright won. I mean, the Chargers like smashed the Packers, and for a minute, I thought, okay, because the Chargers, the offense wasn't playing that well. They were just getting at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think they started with 4 field goals, so they weren't playing maybe 3 field goals. They weren't playing that well, and I was like, well, as I was watching the game, I was thinking, well, if you're just going to kick field goals against Aaron Rodgers, he's going to figure it out, and it's going to be over. But the problem is that 2 things. One, this happens a lot. Just no one was getting open. Devontae Adams had his first game back.
Yeah.
But you could see when Aaron Rodgers has nowhere to throw because he normally gets rid of the ball fast or makes something happen.
There's nothing.
But if there's nothing,
everybody was like,
if there's nothing, he throws it away. But in this case, before he could throw it away, he had Bosa or Ingram going right after him. There were no double teams. They didn't figure that out.
Yeah. But
it was a real painful game to watch with no second half adjustments.
Just sloppy.
And that's big. For me, that's big. To be a good coach, you need to know how to come back in the second half. So that's huge. And obviously Belichick has made everyone aware that that's important. But why is his name slipping my mind? He's the coach for Michigan right now. Harbaugh, and both Harbaugh brothers are actually very good at halftime adjustments. And a couple other guys are too, and LaFleur is just not there yet, I guess.
I mean, the Packers only scoring 11 points is pretty interesting.
It's huge.
Yeah, that's crazy. But the Chargers are one of those weird teams where you have Melvin Gordon's back now. You have who's their other running back that was playing Eckler. You have Hunter Henry, who just came back a week or 2 ago. He's one of the best tight ends in the league, but he's just came back.
Yeah.
So you're going to see Hunter Henry have 3 touchdowns and 100 yards in 2 weeks, guarantee you, because he's going to be in the flow. Keenan Allen.
I never thought Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry is one of those guys that you think is really good, and then
we'll see.
Has good games. It's like the tight end from Minnesota.
He just came back a few weeks ago. I think he's still going to get in the groove.
But
a lot of good players.
All that happened though was that they were able to put it on them. The Packers the defense normally pretty good in the red zone. Didn't play well there either.
I just think the London Chargers are just a better team.
Oh, you think they're going to London? We'll talk about that in a second.
About that.
They're not a better team, but
my favorite
we'll go
team
to that
in
in a
NFC
second.
To possibly win the Super Bowl.
It's the Saints.
No.
Oh.
Is the Seattle Seahawks.
I like the Seahawks.
I'm being dead serious too. I could see them going to the Super Bowl and winning it. I think they're the best team in NFC, and I've just been really impressed with them the last few weeks. They're to me.
Well, not the last. So over the last 4 weeks, 3 of those have been good because they actually looked pretty crappy 2 weeks ago. They didn't look great 2 weeks ago, but I don't disagree with you there. Now, are they? They couldn't beat the 49ers.
Well, they play them this week, right?
They play them this week, or I don't know if they can beat the 49ers. I thought they have a loss. I thought one of their losses was against the 49ers.
I actually think they play the 49ers tomorrow.
Well, they play them twice.
Or like Sunday night game. I mean, the 49ers are a good team.
Well, that's what we're going to talk. We're going to compare those.
I don't like Garoppolo, but like Garoppolo's been pretty good, and the defense has been great.
Well, Garoppolo had a great game last week, but before that, he's not had great games. He's been the Trent Dilfer of that team. At best,
Trent Dilfer has a ring on his finger.
Well, that's why I was saying it's a good team.
Like a Hall of Fame. He's not a Hall of Fame.
So I take that back. He actually not been the Trent.
Hall of Fame,
he's not been a Trent Dilfer on that team because he's in one game he had as many turnovers as the defense.
Yeah, he hasn't been great. I mean, I've seen his fantasy points. He's been good enough. He's been solid. And that's all you have to be when your defense is playing great, and whatever else. I
could have swore the Seahawks did play already, but they didn't. They didn't play the 49ers yet. So they're going to play them, like you said, this week.
That's a good battle right there.
That's a great battle. And then they're going to play them last game of the season, which is huge. No one's sitting there. So this is interesting because this is we didn't plan to talk about this, but this is actually crazy about this schedule. So I tend to agree with you. I think the Seahawks are good. Yeah. I think if they get to the playoffs, they can beat anyone in the playoffs. The problem is that the Niners have this huge lead. Yeah. So now they're in that wild card situation. If someone gets hurt, they're in trouble. But here's what's crazy. Let's say the Niners come back to earth a little bit, which I think they will.
They might lose a game or two. I don't expect them to go undefeated, right?
Yeah, of course. Then what you end up having, though, is a Week 17 where they play each other. And this Week 17 could have important playoff implications. So get this. No one sits, no one rests.
Like the winner gets home field advantage.
It could be winner gets home field advantage. It could be winner gets the division. Who knows that far out?
Who's the home team this Sunday?
The 49ers are. So the Seahawks, it'll be in Seattle in Week 17. But what does that mean, though? That means that your good players don't get any rest. Not fantasy.
Well, that matters for fantasy football, too.
Not in Week 17. Week 17 fantasy.
You're saying all the good players play. That could be a championship game.
No, in most leagues, it's not. Right. Yeah, it's 16. So forget about fantasy for a second. I'm talking about real football here still. What I'm saying is that normally, let's say the Patriots. Okay. Patriots are going to be killing that, so it won't be crazy for Belichick to sit Brady at the half.
Oh, yeah. That's what I mean. They already have home field locked up.
Exactly. In this division, that's not going to happen because it's 49ers Seahawks at the end. They're probably going to be playing for something important. And what that does is bring in tired players into the playoffs. So it could have implications. Now, is Russell Wilson a consummate professional? Is Pete Carroll, also, by the way, very good at second half adjustments, is Pete Carroll a good coach that will know what to do and to keep his players from injury because the playoffs are the most important thing? Yes. Yeah. All those things are true. But that always catches my eye when there's a really good Week 17 game.
Well, you want all the games to matter. Yeah. You want every game to matter. And in certain sports, sometimes they don't, which is a shame, but that's just how it is.
Yeah, we'll get into Kawhi in a bit. So anyway, my point was that just, especially in the NFC, it's so crazy right now because...
Well, you went to the Saints. You were jumped on the Saints.
I didn't want to go to the Saints. I'm still talking about the NFC North. It's crazy right now because I think it was to most people, it was pretty clear that the NFC North, at least top to bottom, were all good teams. That like the Lions and the Bears with a decent quarterback are playoff teams that could get deep against a lot of teams. And then they go 0-4 against the AFC West.
Well, see, like the North, it's like they're all like. I mean, together as a collective, they're all really like pretty good, but maybe they're not great. I mean, like if you're talking to NFC, what's the other one? Just
the Saints, really, is the only other team that I can think is great. It's not the Cowboys or the Eagles.
Well, we're talking NFC. Like I was just thinking, like Seattle, 49ers, like maybe some of those teams are better.
Those teams, overall, I think that they're better,
not collective. But like overall,
no. I think that they're better than like the Lions and the Bears and stuff. Yeah. Right. But what I'm saying is that there's Arizona's in there and the defunct Rams. The figured out Rams are in that division. I think the Lions could beat the Rams, but they couldn't beat the Raiders.
Well,
before this week, I would have thought the Lions could beat the Rams. The way they've been playing, the way that
Rams are just a weird team to.
They're so weird, yeah.
But Arizona, that they get David Johnson back this week and.
I don't think David Johnson's that good.
No, dude, who's the running back that they just got?
And they just traded
had 100 yards, like 2 touchdowns. So now they have a four-legged horse now. Because now they have David Johnson comes back.
Actually, you're right about that.
And they got that other running back.
You're actually right about that.
They look good.
You're right about that because David Johnson's good year that everyone thought he was great in fantasy was because they were giving it to him 30, 35 times, right? And then he got hurt the next year. And now he's this year, they realize they can't do that. But if you have two good running backs, if you have two good running backs, then you could still run it 35 times. I'm trying to think
of the player that they just...
I forget his name. It's Johnson? Not Kenny.
No. Anyway, they just traded for him, and from the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Drake.
Yeah, Drake.
Yeah, Drake. There we go.
So Drake was known as like a great running back a few years ago, for Miami.
Not great.
Yeah,
he was known as a guy that could be good. Yeah. A lot of potential.
So he didn't have the best type of year this year, but now he goes to Arizona and blows up, and then now they get David Johnson back. So that's a good 1-2 combo. That's not the best 1-2 combo. We were talking earlier about another 1-2 combo, like the Cleveland Browns. That
should be
that might be the best 1-2 combo in the league if they play right. But the Arizona combo is one of the better ones.
I really want to see. I always want to call him Tyreek Hill. I want to see
Hunt.
No. Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt. And
I always want to see
Chubb.
I want to see Kareem Hunt play in a non. What's the coach from the Chiefs? What's wrong with
Andy Reid?
Yeah, in a non-Andy Reid offense.
Smack yourself in the head real quick. Just get your brain going.
Dude, you've forgotten way more names than I have.
Whatever. You're really forgetful.
I want to see... I've forgotten one name. You've forgotten every name. I want to see him play in this little Kitchens offense. I don't know that he'll be... I think he'll be fine.
I mean, he played fine without Andy Reid in college.
Well, I mean, a lot of running backs played fine.
No, I'm just saying. He doesn't
Go
need
find
Andy
Trent
Reid.
Williams and Richard and Bishop Sankey. They all played fine.
He doesn't need Andy Reid. He doesn't need him.
He needs the offense, though.
Now, he hasn't played for a while. I'm not expecting him to run for 300 yards this Sunday. But, I mean, I just think for having, given Chubb a rest and having a quality running back in there.
The second running back
is pretty good. Yeah, it's great. If you have two good running backs, it's not like quarterbacks. If you have two really good quarterbacks, it means you have none. If you don't know who to start and but if you have two really good running backs, that's great.
You need one. You need one great quarterback and one really good one, as you know from the Saints situation. I think everyone's learning that now. Well, if your quarterback gets hurt, you can't just throw away the season. I agree with you. I want to see Kareem Hunt in a different offense because Andy Reid is well known for being an offensive guru, and I think that opened up a lot for Kareem Hunt. Especially when you had guys like Tyreek Hill and the emergence of Mahomes in that team. So I want to see what happens with Kareem Hunt in a team like the Browns where they're 2-6 and not playing that well. And the quarterback, apparently everyone has film on him now.
It'll be fun. And their schedule kind of opens up. I know we just jumped on the Browns, but now their schedule is a little easier. They're probably going to win the next 3 out of 4 or something. And
and then everyone's going to be everyone's going to be like how good they are. But as you say right now on this podcast, we know that their schedule is going to be a little bit easier, and everyone's going to get on.
18 days from now, it's nonstop Sports Center, nonstop. The Browns have
Baker
won 4 in a row.
Back.
Yeah, Baker Mayfield, 4 touchdowns, 400 yards.
They're so stupid.
Just know what's going to happen.
So what we know, though, is if somehow they pull it out of their ass and make it to the playoffs, we know that they're going to lose in the first round.
I mean, that's fine. Yeah. But I didn't expect them to be great until a year or 2 from now.
Yeah. I mean, I was telling Wayne they were going to be 8 or if they're 8-8, it's going to be surprising.
That's kind of what I told Wayne. I was like, there might be 500. They're not going to be that great.
Listen, I know that you're a Lean Browns fan too, but listen, when I'm doing those live things on YouTube with Wayne, I gotta choke him to stop talking about the Browns. So
we just happen to talk about the Browns for a second. You know how that is.
Anyway, so Seahawks. You think Seahawks? I do think.
I think the Seahawks are way better than the Browns. I'll say it right now.
Yeah, that's easy. I do think though that the class of the NFC is not the Seahawks. I think that team is being held up by Russell Wilson, much like the Packers team has been in the past.
Don't say it. You think it's another team that starts with an S.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. The 2 best teams might be the S teams.
I'm trying to think of another team that starts with an S that would make you mad.
No, there's no other team in the league that starts with an S. There's 2 teams in the league, and it's...
Oh, those 2 teams start with an S? There's no other team that starts with an S? No. You know that for sure?
Yeah.
How do you just have that information?
Dude, I can tell you every letter, how many teams start with every letter.
I just told you?
A.
D.
0.
No A's. No.
D. 0.
1. Dolphins.
Okay. Well,
so you can't. No. The game's over. You fucking failed.
The Dolphins suck. I don't count them as a team. The Dolphins aren't a team, just like the Redskins aren't a team, so I don't count those letters.
You have to go over 500 to be counted?
No. It's just like, that's not
There's
a team.
only 2 S's for reals?
I mean, we'll look that up later, but I'm pretty sure, yeah. Yeah.
No, there's got to be another S.
Why? What kind of animal starts with it? What other animal starts with an S or
I'm going through
heavenly,
it.
Like person.
Buccaneers.
Dude, that's a good game. Like later, you know what I mean?
We'll
look it up.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a good podcast. Anyway, it is the Saints. I do think that they're the best. I think that they're the best if their quarterback gets hurt. Because I think Teddy Bridgewater could handle the team. You know, he could have done better, but he'd also not played for 2 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you guys don't remember, if we got like a 6-year-old here that when Teddy Bridgewater played last, he was 4 and doesn't remember, Teddy Bridgewater was on the way to lead a team that was expected to finish first place.
Well, you had him like in your dynasty league, and you would have been like, I have a great quarterback, like years ago before he got hurt. And
so let me put it this way: when I drafted him in his rookie year,
you were like,
I thought he was going to be a lot better. I don't think he's the player I thought he was. I still think he's a good player. I have him back on the dynasty league, by the way. I just traded Goff.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, for Budda Baker and a couple other guys, but
well, Goff has kind of been that.
Yeah, I got rid of Goff.
You have Wentz, and you have good quarterbacks.
I have Wentz and Breeze.
You could afford getting rid of Goff.
To get rid of Goff,
because you're just gonna go with you're gonna go with Wentz and like draft another quarterback soon.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean that's why I did that earlier. So anyway, it is the Saints. They got all the weapons. Drew Brees is a beast.
You wouldn't be sad if he got another Super Bowl ring. That'd be kind of
no. I would be sad.
Smile. Well, I mean,
if he got another Super Bowl ring, that means that Aaron Rodgers didn't.
For Brees though. Brees is a nice gentleman, you know what I mean? I couldn't be, like, mad at him.
Dude, I think Drew Brees is 10 times better than Tom Brady, so obviously I'm okay with that. But
yeah, I mean, I don't... I mean, same with Russell Wilson. I wouldn't mind. I mean,
it'd be interesting because it'd be Russell Wilson. It'd be Russell Wilson as the A game. Because the A side, when he won the Super Bowl before, was the defense. But now it's all him.
Well, it was the running and defense.
And the running game, yeah. And he was like a good game manager, smart. But now it's him. Yeah. Now it's him.
Before, he just had to manage the game. You had Marshawn Lynch, one of the best running backs in the league, and like the
great defense,
Legion of Boom. Yeah, Legion of Boom or whatever you had.
Russell Wilson's really good, and I don't think we're going to realize that till the end of his career. I mean, do you know where he ranks on the all-time pass rating list?
Ever,
yeah. If you take whole careers. Number 1 is Aaron Rodgers.
Third all time.
So third is higher than most people would guess. He's only behind Aaron Rodgers all time.
So he's second?
He's second.
The reason why I would say third.
All time, yeah.
I'm not surprised second. It doesn't surprise me because he's a smart player. He's making the right throws. He's athletic.
Yeah, and being first, second, third on the passer rating all-time list doesn't matter. I mean, here's what matters for passer rating, that you don't throw interceptions. And if you think of the 2 guys that don't throw a lot of interceptions because they're smart, it's Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson.
Well, let me tell you something.
And that's the big thing. That's actually why that stat's not that great, because it's so heavy on interceptions.
Let me tell you another reason why it's not that great. A guy can have a crappy passer rating, and he would have a better passer rating if he just hiked the ball and threw it to the ground every snap the whole game.
Yeah, so there's holes. With any stats, there's holes.
So that shows you that there's big-time holes. That's why.
There's huge holes. I mean, if you remember that game where Aaron Jones scored 4 touchdowns, Aaron Rodgers only had an 88 passer rating. But he basically made every pass up until getting to the 3-yard line.
So one of the holes is a couple interceptions or something, right? Or like
one interception. I think interceptions are too heavy on it. But to me also...
the receiver's fault.
But to me also then touchdowns are too heavy because like I was just telling you, Aaron Rodgers would make it all the way to the end, almost to the end zone. And then, on the 3-yard line, he'd hand it to Aaron Jones and they would score a touchdown. Aaron Jones had 4 touchdowns that game. And Aaron Rodgers had an 88 passer rating. If he had 1 touchdown of those, he'd have a 99.
So it's like, oh, that guy didn't throw that many touchdowns, but it's like he just fucking got
he did other stuff.
He just took the team down the field from
but that's
up
what
and
people,
down the field like all game.
That's what people don't understand about stats, though, is that they're never the end-all, be-all. No. You have to know how they're built.
Well, that's why interceptions, too. It's like a lot of interceptions are on the wide receiver. It's like
very heavy.
Well, yeah, it's like if you look at some of the quarterbacks' interceptions, some of them are just like that's totally the wide receiver's fault.
Yeah,
and it's just
it's off a deflection.
Yeah, it just looks bad on the quarterback. But it's like
a third of
I just tipped the ball up like
a third of Brett Favre's interceptions were deflections, And then another like 15% of those were because he was just trying to come back from a deficit.
Yeah, when a guy shoots a basketball and he airballs, that's his fault, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like it's the other guy's fault.
Yeah.
He just airballed it.
Yeah. You shouldn't take a shot if someone's defending you or something.
Yeah.
It's recording, dude. You're not that good at fantasy.
What's actually funny about that? Me and you are kind of, and I'm actually dominating in a couple other leagues that we're not in now.
I mean, you're beating me in the Dynasty League.
What's funny is me and you are both dominating our leagues.
Yeah, we're up there.
Because like you're first in that one 4-man league. I think I'm second.
You were first in most of the years. You were, yeah.
Well, in a couple of the other leagues I'm talking about with me and you, I know I'm second. I'm like second, first. And
in Goch's league, are you second now?
Yeah, I'm guaranteed. I thought it was first.
No, you weren't. You weren't second the whole year. It was me and her friend Arturo.
I've had the second most points or first most points probably the whole year.
That's different.
I know.
I've had the most points.
Yeah, you have more points than me. Yeah. Like you have like 70.
I've been killing in points because it was a minute.
But we called that from the get go. I was like, this is a joke. I'm about to murder this league. You know, you just happen to be in front of me. But barely. That happens. Yeah, barely though. But that's part of the game. Like, it would be funny if we match up in like a couple of leagues in the championship game.
Well, it'd be funny in her work league if it's you and me in the final. People that don't work there.
It'll be like they won't even be interested. But you know, our league is like that league is just for pride, which I like. Some leagues, people play fantasy football for a few different reasons. You might bet like a work league. You might bet like winner wins pizza or something, or $5 each, or whatever, right? That league's just pure. What's that league? Pure bragging rights. Isn't that league, or is there a big bet that we don't know about?
League?
Yeah,
I think someone said let's all put $5 in, but that was it. It's just bragging rights.
Well, it's too late now because they're not going to do it now, right?
Well, people said at the beginning of the year. I was just like $5. I'll just throw Angelo's in.
Oh, so is it now? So I might win $40.
I don't know if it is.
If you keep it a secret from me, or what? Is it a league?
Listen, if everyone pays $5, I'll do it.
Okay, I'm just saying.
We got our co-host is now.
Oh, he's trying to. I think he's telling me to go.
Zachary Sarda is going to be a big. He's going to be a big part of Chaotic Sports in the future.
Yeah, man, that'd be cool. Like
he is
before I die.
He is literally giving you his shoes.
If you do a Chaotic Sports podcast one day, that would be kind of funny.
He's done like 5. He's been on the cover.
I mean, actually, to talk in like a legit show, that'd be weird, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need these right now. Thank you so much. Unless you want me to take off, I'm not allowed to have shoes on. When I do a podcast, what I do is like I don't have gloves on. I don't wear gloves, and I don't wear shoes.
But you wear socks.
I wear socks, but I mean, I just have a thing where I don't wear shoes when I do a podcast. I like to relax.
I like that.
Yeah, I like to relax my mind. Like I could be in the nicest studio.
I mean, also
5 years from now, and I'm going to take my shoes off.
Shoes in the house.
Yeah, but in the studio in the future, I'm just going to be like, I'm keeping the tradition alive. I want to be relaxed, and I take my shoes off. Yeah,
I respect that. Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay, what's our next little?
We got a
little thing we're talking about here. We jump into.
So in the world of the NBA, in our little thread and our little talks with our friends about sports and whatnot, I think people are ready to say that Kawhi Leonard's the best. It was hard for a while because he was injured. He missed a whole year. You showing me fantasy stats right now? I mean, you just took second place there.
No, I was in second place before.
No, you weren't. It was me and Arturo were in second place the whole time. He had.
Oh, did he? Okay, he might have. I was probably in second place a week or two before that.
Yeah, he just lost. No. He was in first place a long time. I had the most points. He finally lost.
I have the second most points. You only beating me by 60-something points.
That's actually a lot.
I mean, I'll catch up by like a week or so from now.
But you haven't been in second place. You took it now because he just lost again, and you have more points than him. Now you have the same record.
Okay, we're on the NBA. Then
are we talking about the NBA?
Yeah, then we jump to fantasy again. Fantasy gets people a little riled up.
Yeah, we get riled up.
Look at that little face.
We get riled up for fantasy. He's good. He could play with that. Maybe not.
That, right? I don't think that was right.
I mean, there's no beer in there, right?
No.
Thank you. He knows. You can drink.
Okay, so we're talking about. Aren't we talking about the Clippers?
No, we're talking about Kawhi. I mean, I guess we were talking about the Clippers.
Okay, if you talk about Kawhi, like in the year 2019,
I forgot, dude.
If you talk about Kawhi in October, like around Halloween or Christmas, you might be talking about the Clippers. You talk about Kawhi, unless you work for New Balance. And you're still talking about Kawhi.
Yeah.
No matter what you're talking about, you might be talking about...
Unless you're talking about the history of the NBA. That's the only thing.
Or the history of New Balance.
Yeah.
Which would correlate with Kawhi because he's part of the history now of New Balance.
Yes. So we are talking about the Clippers and Kawhi. Okay. So it's come down the grapevine. It's being reported that, Kawhi's missed 3 out of 9 or 10 games or something already.
It's ridiculous.
And it's come down the grapevine that this may have been the unspoken agreement between him and the team to get him to sign with the Clippers that he would play max 65 games.
I'm all about load management. 65. It's fine. It works these days. Take care of your body. The players these days take more. What are they doing? Eating better. They have
in that case, you shouldn't need load management.
No, I'm just saying they have trainers, a chef. They're taking they're in the jacuzzi. You know what I mean? They're doing everything they can to be on top of their game.
So you shouldn't even need it then.
What I'm taking is you should need it. You should take a little bit of load management to be that much more on top of the game. But do you need to take the first 3 games out of 8 of the season? Do you need to take off against a marquee matchup against the Greek Freak? Maybe you want to play that game because people are paying tickets to go watch that game.
We'll talk about that part in a little bit. My thing is that if you're injured, you're injured. If you're getting paid to play 82 games, and the only reason you're not out on the court when you're injured is because you would suck really bad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
and you might take a couple games off before the playoffs start just to get get your legs right. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah. Or LeBron is famous. What is LeBron famous? LeBron is famous for taking 2 weeks off but playing the games, letting other people play, sort of working.
Well, he takes off on defense. Some players slack off on defense, so they're not even really trying.
Yeah, but he's taking off on offense too. Where you're on the Cavs, or where you could tell he was there. He was being a leader, but he was letting other people play. He wasn't just taking out,
giving his body a rest in the game.
But for it to be built in, and it's not built into the contract, but for it to be built into the agreement, or for it to have come from Kawhi Leonard, is huge. And this is you and me talking about it, and you and I. You can go for the last 4 or 5 years on these podcasts and hear how much we love Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
Especially you, you when I put him in the top 5 or something, you were saying he's the best.
Yeah.
And
now he's finally regarded as the best.
He is, but now can you really call him that?
Well, I'm just upset at another way you could load management is why just play some other games and maybe don't play the fourth quarter. Play half the game. You could do different tricks. You know what I mean? You could do different tricks too.
The important part is not how to do load management, because now you're talking if you're the coach, if you're the coach, what's his name in San Antonio?
Yeah, this was around a long time ago.
Yeah, that's Popovich. Great. If you're Popovich in San Antonio, I guess now.
And that was more older players too. That's fine. A little different too.
That's fine. That's if you're the coach.
Older player load management.
The new topic, the topic that we're talking today, is when the player, who we all regard as the best player, dictates it. Says, I'm only playing 65 games. Can he be the best player if that's his attitude?
I mean, maybe
if this was another guy,
maybe he won't win MVP because of this.
If this was another guy, because you're on the record as loving Kawhi, we're Kawhi stans, we're fans. If this was another guy, would you be harder on him? If this was LeBron saying I'm only playing, LeBron is the only guy that could say it.
Well, I'm into older player load management more than younger player load management. When it was Ginobili or Duncan the last 2-3 years or whatever, you're this guy kind of does need to chill out a little bit. Great. Get his body
That's great. Kawhi did it.
I know.
5 years in the league. What is that?
Kawhi needs it less than Tim Duncan.
Well, tell Kawhi. Why can't you? You're going to criticize Jermaine Whitehead.
I can't Kawhi.
You're going to criticize everyone else. Kawhi is the person that's saying I'm playing 65 games.
I just said I don't like taking 3 games off out of the first 8. That's ridiculous.
You're doing all this in the third person. Why are you talking shit on Kawhi?
What I'm saying is...
Say, Kawhi, you're a shitbag.
No, I don't cuss. I would never say that.
You do cuss.
I don't cuss.
Cussed earlier in the podcast.
I don't like cussing, man. I mean, I don't go out of my way to cuss. I might cuss.
What do you think?
One time every 3 podcasts.
No one cares. No one's sorry about this. We're talking about Kawhi.
I'm not into it. What I'm trying to say is... I wouldn't do it right off the bat, right? You don't need the second, third, and 5th game off of the season for load management.
Everyone agrees with you. This is not the point.
So, and I would wait till Paul George comes back, and then if I cared about the Clippers, what I'm trying to say, if I was the Clippers, I would think, okay, now when I get Paul George back, now we have like one of the best players in the league. Now Kawhi, let's give you a couple games off, but right now we kind of need you.
Oh, great. Your opinion is the same as everyone's. Right?
No, this is what I'm saying. These are the things I'm saying.
Yeah, so that's everyone's opinion.
So what are you trying to say?
I'm trying to ask you, I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to figure out, you don't like it, obviously, but you cannot criticize Kawhi directly.
I already criticized
You haven't said it.
I don't like it.
I would. You would. I don't like it. Is Kawhi?
I don't know. I need to see that he
is
put
that
it in
a
the contract.
Baby?
I don't know if that's
It's
true.
not in the contract.
Okay, so I can't.
It's come down that it's him.
I don't think it's
It's
him.
come down that it's him.
It's Doc Rivers.
See, you can't even do
blame
it.
Doc Rivers.
You can't even do it.
Doc Rivers is a horrible coach.
Hey, Doc Rivers is one of the best coaches in the league. I mean, he took games off. This is probably what happened in the Raptors too, because it was happening in the Raptors.
He definitely took games off, but it wasn't like right off
the
bat. It wasn't right off the bat of the season.
You can't do it.
No, we didn't like it.
It's basically understood that was Kawhi brought it down.
We didn't like it with the
criticize
Raptors.
him.
I am not.
It's sick.
I'm not in love with this right off the bat beginning of the season.
Sick.
Later in the season, give him a break.
I'm going to change to some other topic, and you're going to be so critical of the player. If we switch to Jermaine Whitehead now, you'll be sick with him. You'll directly cut the player down in other situations. But Kawhi, you
so
can't.
What was your whole point about this Kawhi thing? We're both agreeing that we don't like this new style stuff.
No, this is. Listen. Every sports talk show and every podcast in the land is talking that they don't like it. That it's fine that they do it if they hold up the championship, et cetera, et cetera. We all have the same opinion that 3 games out of 8 is too much. We all have it. This is what's important to chaotic sports: is that you can't call Kawhi a shitbag.
No, dude, we don't cuss on this podcast.
We do.
No, we don't.
We do.
I just don't enjoy what's happening right now. I'll get back to you in a few weeks. I want to see if maybe he won't take another game off for the next 20 games.
I'm clapping, but you can't do it. You'll cut down a guy for looking at his phone 10 minutes after a game, whether he says crazy stuff or not about it. But the worst thing for the league is that Kawhi Leonard isn't. Even Zachary's saying
Kawhi's not telling people he's going to kill him. Okay, so that's a totally different.
Okay, I agree. It was just the recent news.
Okay.
I mean, but you'll cut down people. You'll cut down these players. But you can't say that, hey, it's a lot of BS that people are going to be paying. It's like $120 to see a basketball game. People are going to be playing this.
I brought that up.
And Kawhi is not going to play Giannis.
I said against the marquee matchups, the marquee teams, like it's just horrible for the NBA for the players not to be matching up.
Yeah, you did.
You want to play all your road games because those are fans that want to get a chance to see you. Your home team can see you another time, right? So you probably want to rest at home.
That's great. So is Kawhi Leonard a dick for not playing tonight? Or when's the Giannis game, tonight or tomorrow?
I think it's a dumb move. He's stupid.
Thank you. That's all I wanted.
If it's him.
He's stupid. It took 20 minutes.
No, if it's his fault. It's his fault. Now, if it's the Clippers organization fault, then it's not on Kawhi. I don't know. I'm not there.
That's a lot of games for him not to play. Especially, I'll say this. Listen, the way the rules are set up right now and the way the playoffs are set up that half the teams get into the playoffs, then load management makes sense because who cares if the Clippers are the 1st seed or the 4th seed?
Well,
you might not want to play the Rockets or some hot team or something. You know, the Rockets might end up being 6th seed.
As long as you don't finish like last or whatever, you'll play a team that you're probably better than anyway.
Yeah.
The Clippers are like, as long as we get like 3rd or 4th place.
Exactly. So I'm not as against it. I'm not as against it in that sense because that's the way the rules are. What really should happen is that you should.
Adam Silver should fine a team $1 million every time a player misses, and he did say he was going to fine players. I remember that conference.
So let me get mine out. Let me get my thing out. So the reason is I don't mind it. It's because the rules are set up for it. So finding a player, that's stupid. That's like going over the top. The rules should
not the player, the team.
Hold on. The rules should set up so that it's actually harder to get into the playoffs. Like there should be almost like NASCAR where your teams are just cut out. Regular season games, you just start getting cut out. You can't make it anymore because you don't have a 750 win percentage or something. Because then at the end, when the real playoffs start, you don't have teams in the Eastern Conference, especially that are skating on 500, making the playoffs.
Well, you should have all the best records. We already talked about that.
It's just too many teams in the playoffs.
Just the best teams make the playoffs, not each conference.
So if the point is to win in the playoffs, and your team is good enough. The Clippers were good enough without Paul George and Kawhi Leonard to make the playoffs last year, and your team is good enough to make the playoffs, then why even start these players? So to me, it's the rules. It's totally the rules.
Make it more important to make the playoffs, but also a bigger fine. So like the team might not want to make the team might not want the guy to miss 20, 30 games because that's like a lot more money now. Now they're like, hey man, we can't do this. Yeah, a game or two, but if it's like 30 games, that's like $30 million or something. The team's not going to do that.
We talk crap about the NBA doing this and this fining stuff. Yeah. You know where it happens all the time? Soccer.
Yeah. Okay.
All the time. Okay. Because they're playing league games. They're playing Champions League. They're playing for their cups.
Yeah.
They're playing for cups in the country. Right? FA Cups. They're playing World Cup.
Yeah.
They're playing Europa.
They're playing too much.
So they're playing a bunch. And the truth is that they pool Messi sometimes. They pool the good players.
Kawhi. It happens here because like player plays playoffs. They play for a championship. Then they play for Team USA. They play this.
But it's a lot less.
It is a lot less. But it does.
Well,
it does get
I take that back.
It does get to you though.
I take that back.
It's a lot on your legs.
I take that back. The extra stuff is a lot less, but the basketball season is a lot longer because the max that Barcelona will play is 50 games.
But that's why some players in the NBA didn't play for like Team USA sometimes because they're just like overworked.
Because FIBA's dumb.
It is a lot.
Well, because FIBA's dumb. They rather do it for the Olympics.
Yeah.
So my idea is that you need to make it better. Also, you can make rosters bigger so that they're like soccer rosters where you have good players on the bench and you bring them in and out. Like there were times one of the best players in the league is Argentinian named Aguero, and when he came back, he led the league. He led the Premier League in goals. He got injured. When he came back, Manchester City was still playing good. They tried to bring him off the bench for a while, and they still do.
That's a lot of running, though. Soccer's like,
right?
You got to get that guy.
Yeah, but it wasn't a fitness thing. It was they thought they had a better team. It turned out they didn't. So you could do that. You can make bigger rosters or something. There's a lot of things you can do. But right now, the way it's set up is that it's okay. You need to sit Kawhi. It's okay. It sucks for TV. It sucks for the fans. But the rules dictate that it's okay to sit Kawhi.
Well, we don't like it for the fans. And I like your thing with the playoffs. I think my thing with the heavier fine on the team is a good idea.
The fines are lame because then they're going to fake injuries. Then it's just going to be injury. It's fine, but they do it now.
Well, I'm just saying
they do it now.
If an NBA finds out that it's a fake, it could be a heavy.
They do it now.
50-game suspension. I mean, it could be like a legit thing if they find out that it's fake.
Well, they do it now, and it happens in baseball. So
it's just like you don't want to mess around with
fining to not play. It also makes a crappier game. Well, the
players should just play. You just maybe don't play the whole game. You know,
so that makes a crappier game too.
It does, but
the fine is coming down. Listen, the rules are screwed up. If you need to come down with magical fines to not play, this is where it will change. This is where it will change. Is that ESPN?
Healthy players are supposed to play.
This is how it will change when the TV contracts come up. Because the people that are really mad are ESPN and TNT.
Well, the Bucks versus freaking
that's a marquee game on TNT.
Versus the Greek Freak, and now it's nothing.
That's a marquee game on TNT.
So they're losing commercial. People are mad, right?
Exactly. People are not going to watch. People are not going to watch as much. It's going to cut the watch
and
down.
And they don't have Paul George. So that's that game's stupid now.
That's what's going to change.
And the Bucks are going to win by 20. Are the Bucks not going to win by 20?
Not by 20.
Greek Freak's going to dominate right now.
Yeah, not by 20.
If
because Clippers are actually pretty good.
Okay, I disagree. We'll see the score.
But that's how it's going to change. Is that when the TV contracts come up with ESPN and TNT, they're going to have to make some kind of deal where they need marquee matchups on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Saturdays, right? So that's where you're going to get it. But as of today, as of this conversation, the rules dictate that you're an idiot if you don't load manage. Now, is 3 games out of 10 a lot? That's a lot because Kawhi could get hurt. You'd rather him be playing. You'd rather him be drawing fans in. But
again, I think you should load manage, but to an extent.
Yeah, but everyone agrees with that. I agree with that.
Yeah,
it's
I'm okay with load manage. It's just like it just comes to a point where don't overdo it. Don't be stupid at the beginning of the season. The way it started out with the Clippers thing is what I think a lot of us are just like. This is kind of dumb.
It slapped us in the face. 3 games.
3 games. And if you're thinking like an NBA point of view, it's ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, as far as like the market
even if we're talking about load management in general, it's crazy because it's like what do these games matter? He should be missing more games in the second half after he makes the All-Star game. Like, he should be missing games in the second half. That gives you more rest.
Second half, and then you definitely should miss a few at the end of the season so you can get your legs right. Maybe you play the last couple games because you want to still be in the flow, but you're going to miss, they'll give you 5 games off the last week before the last week of the season, so you're kind of fresh for the playoffs or whatever.
We've said that stuff already. Hey, let's wind it down. This is the Chaotic Sports Podcast. My name's Chris Sarda. That is Angelo Soboro. You can find us at Chaotic Sports on Twitter, at Chaotic Wagers, where Angelo just churns out picks wager-wise, and then you can find me personally at Chris Sarda. We also have
chaoticsports.com. Don't forget that one.
We also have a comic book focused account, Chaos and Comics. Just chaos everywhere we go. Find us on YouTube. That's Chaotic Sports on YouTube. Find us there where you'll get a different perspective. Every now and then Angelo will pop up. In fact, Angelo might be just the live stream guy also, because I'm okay with live streaming because we can just do that right away. And there's a baby jumping on a dog as we speak.
The dog got a little upset right now. The dad had to turn around, make sure everything's all right.
And we're rolling out. You guys have a great day. Look out for our MLB Awards podcast coming after this. Later.